My name is Kevin Ray, and you're listening to Truckers and Others. Well, we made it to Wednesday. Look at us go. I am just now heading out of the shop. It's 8 o'clock. And we're rolling now. I had to wave at some people. I get in on time, grab the truck, make sure I got all the supplies I need, make sure it runs good, make sure it's got oil and coolant and air in the tires and nothing in the back of it because I'm driving a vac truck today. Got to drain the oil pots and stuff because motherfuckers don't ever drain that motherfucking shit out. Got it all drained out. I just threw that bucket off to the side, and I grabbed me a new empty bucket to leave with my truck. And we're good. We're driving. I got the hoses. I got lights. I got all of it. I get in the truck, and I pull it out of the shop, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, finally, a truck that's got AC in it. Okay? My other truck that I drive up to Des Moines, it's always got good AC. But every other truck that I've drove lately feels like the AC just does not fucking work in the truck. Like there's something wrong with it. And you know, it's gonna be hot. Okay, it's gonna be hot as fuck. So I got this truck. It's good. And then I park it and I go inside to figure out what I'm exactly doing today because I had an idea of what I was doing, but I don't know where the fuck it's at. So I had to go inside and talk to the office lady and have her give me the address and a little bit of other information, talk to another guy about a bunch of other stuff. And then I go outside and I get in the truck and the fucking blower motor is on level 4, which is high, but it ain't nothing happening. I'm like, oh no, you ain't fucking doing this shit to me today. So I go inside and I talk to the mechanic. I'm like, hey man, I was wondering if you had time to work on a blower motor for a truck because it's going to be hot today, and it'd be really awesome if the AC would fucking work. He said, yeah, that one's rode up. That truck's rode up for no AC. It's like, so it ain't got no AC. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, the blower motor worked, and it had AC this morning. I promise you. It's like, yeah, well, right here in the notes, it says, just, it'll run for a while, and then it quits. And he said, what's wrong with that is the blower motor is getting hot. So, and instead of it having a fuse or anything else, like it's an expensive blower motor that's got like a computer chip and everything on it. So instead of fixing it, you just got to replace it. And he said, I'll order one right now. I'm like, okay, but he's like, yeah, it ain't gonna do nothing for you today. I'm like, okay, well, that's fucking wonderful. Fucking no AC motherfucking truck right here. But while we were talking, I came back out and the blower motor's working again. So this is nice. It's working again right now. I set it on level 2. I'd really like to just leave it on level 4 all day. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it on level 2. It'll be okay. Yeah, and he was talking, so we had one of our roll-off trucks hit a fucking bridge. So, and only like one of our roll-off trucks has like a big red light up on the dash that tells you when the bed's up or the PTO is on or anything like that. And so he said he is changing that to where instead of a light, and this is going to go on all the trucks, it's going to have a buzzer. So he's going to he's ordering a bunch of fucking buzzers So when the PTO is running on any of our trucks, it's going to have a 95 decibel buzzer. I don't see those lasting very long. Okay, if there was a blinking light on the dash, if there was like two lights, one for bed up and one for PTO on, that would be okay. And PTO on, yeah, sure, have a buzzer or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up shoving a screwdriver through some buzzers, when you get a little frustrated out on some job sites and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all that. Also, so I started to record a part of an episode yesterday, but I don't know. I got interrupted, and I just kind of canceled it all out. So, and I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about on there, but the fucking bitch, the bitch that steals all my jobs all the time. No, she's not a bitch. She's actually a good worker, and I like her, and I'd like her to stay working here. But she found another job, so she is gone. She is a valuable employee. It is nice having another employee to be able to do some of this fucking bullshit work. It sucks that, she always would get the fucking work that I would want, but whatever. Well, she's taken off. She's out of here. Part of me, doesn't like it, but the other part of me is like, it's okay. I think we were a little, not overcrowded, but we just had a lot of Class A Has drivers, which is nice, but it's like, the more drivers we have, the less chance I'm going to be able to get the job that I want to get. And we have one driver, the other lady trucker, she's out right now. She's on medical leave, and she's coming back here in, I think, Monday, but I'm not sure. So that'll be nice to have her back on the payroll, driving around to kind of replace this other chick. But and then yesterday, so I get back and I'm sitting in front of the DEF tank and I'm filling up my DEF, and then another guy rolls in, a guy that I like him. He's a really cool guy. And he rolls in, flies past me, and goes to the fuel pump. Like, I was ready to hang up my DEF handle and go to the fuel pump, but whatever. He beat me to it. It's okay. No big deal. So he finishes his fuel, and then that's when I decide to go ahead and do my U-turn and go get some DEF or gas or diesel. And pull around there, start getting diesel, and I look over. So I'm hauling a 53-foot trailer. There is one fucking spot that I can park this trailer that's down on the lower level, like, of our property. The upper level on our property is way in the fucking back. And I parked my car right up front. And there's one fucking spot that I can park this goddamn truck. And the guy in the roll-off truck, the straight truck, pulls up and parks right in the fucking center of it. Like, right in the middle. Like, there's not enough room for me to park in front, clearly. And there's not enough room for me to park behind him, clearly. And I can't park beside him because then I'll be blocking the entire driveway. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And so I drive up there and I do a U-turn, and I realize that the truck he's in has a reserved parking spot inside of the shop. It also has 3 parking spots where we park straight trucks outside. The shorter trucks, we have like a little parking lot where like the winch truck, the dump truck, one of the vac trucks, a guzzler, and the excavator and everything. We park all that stuff because it's shorter. And there's 3 spots open over there, and that's only a few yards back. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, obviously, he didn't have me on his mind whenever he was parking and stuff, but I'm like, you motherfucker, I only get one spot to park this big motherfucking truck and trailer, and you take it with your fucking short truck, and you have 7 other spots you can park your truck. Goddamn, I was so hot. But luckily, now I might be giving away a little bit of a secret here. Kenworth keys, apparently, almost every single one of our Kenworth keys you can use in any of the trucks. So luckily, because he put his key, or he takes the key to that truck home with him because he knows he's going to use it in the morning. And I'm like, you motherfucker. Took the key, parked right in my fucking way. I can't even move your shit. And so luckily the key that I had would move it forward, or open up the door and turn it on. So I got in that, and I drove it forward. And I left him 12 foot in front, and then I had to parallel park my truck behind him up against the railroad track. But you can't be too close to the railroad track, and there's also, the end of a rail is there also, so you can't back up too far. We have, giant boulders blocking the end of the rail so nobody will hit the fucking trail, or railroad. And this truck is bumpy as fuck. Luckily it's got AC. As long as it's got AC, I can deal with the bumps, I guess. The fucking... Damn, this is a bumpy fucking road. I moved his truck forward and parallel parked my truck there. And then as he's walking out of the shop, he looks over at me and just shakes his head. And I'm like, what the fuck are you shaking your head for, you motherfucker? I'm upset at you. I had to move your fucking piece of shit. And we go inside, and he's like, you leave me enough room to get out in the morning? I was like, yeah, you have plenty of room. He's like, oh, I fucking hope so. I left you a fucking runway. I'm like, you left me a runway? Where? Where the fuck? You parked in the middle of the fucking runway, you bitch. You know, just like, Jesus Christ, dude. No, this is a 53-footer. Yeah, all right. If I was able to just push the truck completely sideways, maybe it would have fit in the spot you gave me. But it's hard to parallel park. It's not hard to parallel park the semi, but, I got to do it 3 or 4 times before I feel like I'm close enough to the fucking, because if I hit the fucking train, I will be in fucking deep shit. So I'm very cautious about how I'm doing things, blind backing next to a train. And plus it's a rental trailer. If I fuck up this trailer, we're going to have some issues. Anyways, yeah, he was able to get out just fine today. He had plenty of room. He could back, if he needed to, he could back up, 8 feet, and then he has 22 feet ahead of him. His truck is only 24, it's 30 some foot long. Anyways, Jesus, whatever. And then I go inside, and that's when I find out little bitch is fucking quitting. I'm like, you fucking quitter. Gotta act like, I don't know. I am gonna miss her for real, but you gotta act like, alright, get the fuck out of here. You fucking quitter. You're at it. You're off the team. But then I was talking to the office lady, and I'm like, she put in her 2 weeks? She's like, yeah. I'm like, wow. Because, alright, so, of the people that we've had that I've worked with, I think one person has put in their 2 weeks and fulfilled their 2 weeks. Everybody else has gotten fired or just walked off the job. So it's nice to have somebody actually doing the 2 weeks. Now, I've thought about this a while, and, I've heard some things, and I got my own little views and stuff, but, yeah, all right, if I make a mistake, a big enough mistake, and say it's corporate, and they say, get him out of here. Get him out of here. We don't want him. They're not going to give me 2 weeks. Now, if the company makes a mistake or whatever, obviously I would, I don't know. They pay me, so I work with them. But I don't know. I don't know if I would ever give. I've given 2 weeks at every job that I've had. But, getting a little bit older now, it's like, all right, you know what? How about this? I am leaving. I'm going to get a new job, and I'm just setting up a new job. And whenever that job is ready to have me, I'm going, because, I mean, if I know ahead of time, I'll let you know. But if I call them up, they're like, yeah, you can start tomorrow. I'm like, hey, I'm starting a new job tomorrow. I'm out of here, buddy. Like, yeah, it sucks that I'm just jumping off the schedule and stuff. But if you wanted to get rid of me, you don't give me 2 weeks. Like, you've never even heard of that. Like, if an employer wants to leave an employee, they don't say, hey, you got to go. We'll give you 2 weeks. Oh, I fucking missed my exit. They don't say, hey, you're gonna have to quit in a little bit, or we're gonna stop paying you in 2 weeks. They don't do that shit because obviously retaliation and stuff. Like, they don't want you to be in control of any equipment or anything, because yeah, you got 2 weeks to fuck a lot of shit up. Yeah, I missed my exit, but luckily I could take this one. I could do a U-turn, but I think I'll just go with this path. Hopefully it's not through too many neighborhoods. I don't even know where the fuck I'm going. It might be a Walmart. It might not be. I'm pretty sure it's a Walmart. Most of these are at Walmarts, I think. And all I'm doing today is opening up a dumpster they have on site, and if there's any liquid in it, I'm sucking the liquid out. Yesterday was a fucking horrible day to drive home. I had AC all day, which was nice, but my car does not have AC, and I really need to get that fixed. I really need to figure out what's going on there with that, because I got stuck in stop traffic. Like, not stop and go, it was stop traffic. I was sitting on a bridge. The sun had come down just enough that it was shining straight into my fucking car, all over my body. There's nothing I can do to get away from it. I have no AC. It was fucking horrible. And I about burned up. And then I went to the grocery store, because I told my wife I'd go to the grocery store because I had to re-up on some lunch supplies. I forgot that I didn't have a bunch of pickle. I didn't have any pickles, any mustard, and I had just run out of mayo. So I was like, I'm going to stop by the grocery store. Send me a little list of whatever you want. I went in there. I spent $70 fucking dollars. Okay. I'm not good to go to the grocery store. So I'm walking around, I will be bougie on like the little condiments and stuff that I'm using. So I go through and I buy the nice stuff. Well, I wouldn't say nice stuff, but I got Duke's mayo. I got my Famous Dave pickles, and I got the Sandwich Pal mustard. And that stuff, there's cheaper mustards, there's cheaper mayos, there's cheaper pickles. But I got the good shit, the shit that I really want. You're gonna speed through a school zone, you dipshit? I don't even know if school's going on right now. Um, anyways, then I'm walking around and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I need salsa. So I grabbed this giant jug of salsa because I always run out. And I'm like, I need to get a big jug of salsa. So I grab a big old jug of Pace Picante Medium. And then I'm walking by like the drinks and stuff. And I go to the Mios. Because I'm like, I don't want to keep taking these 5-hour energies because they have so much fucking bullshit in them. That fucking cyanide shit. I don't want to keep taking those if they got cyanide in them, you know? So I go to the Mios and I find those. Now, if they do have the Cynoblabum in it, it's not as much as the fucking 5 hours, but it doesn't list what type of B12 is in the Mio. It's a little squirt juice deal. It's the energy one, but yeah, it says it has B12, but it doesn't list it. So I'm guessing if they're not going to list it, it's probably the synthetic version, which is not good. And right lane must turn right. Okay, I'm going straight. So and then I grab some green teas. My buddy, he always has some green teas with him all the time, and every now and again I get one from him, and they're just so delicious. So I grab me a case of green tea, and then my wife, she used to always like the red Powerade with the white cap. It's like the diet Powerade or whatever, and it's healthier to an extent, and it's better than her fucking sodas. I'm tired. I really, I wish she would find a different drink than soda. She drinks Diet Dr. Pepper all the time. She goes through a lot of Diet Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, all right, let's get her some of these. Because half the time she wants me to pick one up, and they're always out. It's apparently a popular one. And so I got that for her. What else did I get? I got the kids some baby bottle pops. And I don't know, but I go to the register, and the thing is, it's empty, and there's a lady standing there. I hope this isn't a no truck route. I've never been where I am before. And this is like a hilly neighborhood. But apparently, if I just drive straight, I'll end up hitting where I need to be. So this lady's in front of me, and she's got all this stuff, and she's like paying with cash, and which is fine. And then she's asking the dude to call somebody on the PA. She looks a little wonky. I don't think she's sober. I don't think she's been drinking either. So I don't know what let's just say that. I don't know. She's acted all sorts of weird and stuff. She's got all these groceries just piled up. They're just piled up right in front of where, like, they're not on the little treadmill deal. They're on the scanner. And she's like trying to pay. And I set all my stuff up on the treadmill. And then the dude hits the button. I don't know why, but he hits the button, and all my shit because I have all my shit piled at the back, and it just starts going up there and piling. And this lady's like pushing all of my items fucking back and just knocking everything up. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, it's gonna stop. It's not gonna run into your shit. It's gonna stop on the treadmill. And she's just like, I'm not paying for all this. I'm like, I know. We all know. Everybody watched me put all this shit up on the fucking counter. All of your shit is there. You have money out. She's not scanning anything. This fucking bitch. She's like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not paying for your. I'm like, I don't care. I will pay for my shit. No problem. And she's like, did you call Bradley yet? And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And then this fucking stanky, I mean, I don't smell great, but it's fucking stanky, lengthy dude runs up with a case of Blue Moon. And she's like, he's my son. I'm like, okay. All right. I don't give a fuck. Like, just her. I'm not using the self-checkout. Hurry the fuck up. And he runs up. He's like, can I cut you? I'm like, you're with her. Go ahead. I think she already paid for your Blue Moon. I don't know. And the dude is just reaching in his pockets. He's dropping change all over the place. And it's like they were robbing the place, but they weren't. He was just like freaking out, throwing shit all in his pockets and stuff. Oh, shit. I've just passed where I need to be. Motherfucker. Yeah, they were just tweaking, dude. Tweaking hard. And they finally leave, and I get all my shit scanned, and I pay for it. And then, another dude walks up and starts putting my groceries in my cart. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice of you and everything. And I go out to my car, and I start putting my groceries away. And I have like 8 pounds of, or I have 4 pounds of hamburger and 4 pounds of pork chops. And I just keep loading. I don't even look at it. I just like, And I just throw all that shit in there. I did not grab any of those things. So I just throw all that shit in my fucking cart and get the fuck out of there. So, I don't know. I stole. I mean, I didn't steal. I didn't do that shit. I just loaded my groceries and then noticed that in my car when I got home. Is what I would say. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot I grabbed all that stuff. Yeah, just kidding. But, hey, those fucking tweakers are going to be really upset whenever they get home. And they're like, where's the fucking hamburger? We're about to make it for dinner right now. Oh shit, I don't know. You had to get your fucking Blue Moon. We forgot it. And then now they're going to have to go back up to the store. Where's the pork chops? Ah, shit. Which it's good because there was a fucking security guard standing there too. And if he he watched the whole ordeal go down. But if he decided to be like, yeah, let me see your receipt. He'd be like, what are you doing here? But dude, I don't know. I didn't put. That guy put all these bags in my fucking cart. Not me. But anyways, I got some free meat. Not a bad gig. So yeah, I don't know. I should probably feel a little bit bad about it, but you know what? It's the store's fault, and I already had it, out to my car. They're not going to take it back anyway, so might as well just hold on to it. Let's see here. Where am I going? I just want to make sure I don't hit anything. I'm backing up to the gate. Alright, and I made it to my destination. Yeah, and then I went home and the wife made tacos. And I just kind of laid around. Had a good night. That's about it, really, for yesterday. Today, yeah, I'm sucking this liquid up, and then I might have another location I gotta go suck up liquid, but not quite sure yet. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this, but I'll bring you back here in a little bit. Alright, well, some things have happened. The AC is still working in this truck. I'm gonna jinx myself at one of these moments, but the AC is still working. It's comfortable. This is not too bad. It's only 75 degrees out, so it's doing all right. But the truck was sitting for a while I was pumping. I get the truck, pulled over there. The gate to where I need to be is closed, but the gate next, like just a little ways down, was open. So I just threw my hose through the fence and then walked around because there's a dumpster back there that's got concrete slurry in it, and they want me to suck all the liquid out and leave all the solids. And then eventually somebody will come grab the dumpster full of solids. But so, anyways, I start pulling vacuum. Somebody had opened the truck, the back door of the truck. It's got 6 big ass wing nuts that hold the back door shut, and they were all loose. And I started pulling vacuum, and it sucked the door closed, and I was able to tighten all the wing nuts up. So I know it was pulling vacuum. And I open up the after I get all the hoses, laid over there and everything, I open up the vacuum, or the valve, so I can pull vacuum, and I walk all the way around there, and I shove the thing in the hole, but I thought maybe it lost vacuum because it was just laid on the ground. Maybe it lost vacuum, so I stick it in the product. It ain't doing shit, dude. It ain't fucking sucking at all. It's a dead hose. So I run back over to the truck, and I'm still pulling vacuum, and I take the hose off of the inlet tube. Well, I split the hose in half first, because you never know if it's, maybe one of the hoses is clogged. I don't know. So you start at the end and work your way to the truck. And I got all the way to the valve, the inlet valve, and dude, I don't know. So I'm going to say what I thought it was, but I don't think that's what it is now. But this is concrete slurry, right? So if it dries, it turns into fucking concrete. And I was under the impression the inlet tube was not drained properly. So now it's full of fucking concrete. Not fucking good. Not good at all. And I have not operated this truck in a while, so I don't know what's going on with it. But I shove a rod in there, hoping it was just like a little bit of a clog or something. No, this thing is fucking solid rock inside this pipe. So I'm not going to be able to pull vacuum from there, so I go ahead and I just take pictures, call some people, and then go ahead and hook it up to the outlet pipe. The outlet pipe is at the very bottom of the tank, and you can pull vacuum with the outlet pipe, but you can only pull so much, really. You're not going to be able, I don't think you'll be able to get a full load through the outlet pipe, because it's got to pull vacuum from, all the product through the product or whatever. But anyway, I don't know how to explain it much better than that. But I only loaded about 100 gallons. I'm saying 100 gallons. I don't think it was 100 gallons, but that's kind of the minimum you got to write down. So 100 gallons of liquid got pumped out, and that's about it. So I talked to the office lady, and she's like, well, it's weird because that truck has not been on a concrete slurry job for over a week. It was used on Monday by one guy, and he sucked oil. So that kind of draws, that's not it. Another guy used it on Tuesday, and he sucked water, is what he wrote down, is what he sucked. was water. Now, that was on the levee project, so it is possible he got some dirt or rock or clay or something with it. But this stuff, you know, it's not just a rock in a fucking tube. It's like something dried inside of the tube, and it's now, you know, there's no vacuum whatsoever. So I don't fucking know. And it's weird that, because the inlet tube is like a 6-inch pipe, or it's a 4-inch pipe. It's a 4-inch pipe, and we only use 2-inch or 3-inch hoses. So it's like if anything got sucked up in there, it would have had to go through a 3-inch hose, and it wouldn't get, if product makes it through a 3-inch hose, it's not going to get stuck in a 4-inch fucking pipe. Know what I mean? So I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I went ahead and sucked what I could. I'm heading out now. I'm going to go offload, and I'm going to have a guy meet me at the place with a pressure washer, and we're going to go ahead and just wash this truck out completely. You know, don't want to leave any concrete residue in there, even though it will flake up pretty easy if it's like, but if it's a solid fucking tube of it, that's not fucking good at all. So I don't know what we're going to do here. But I'm headed over to go dump. Shouldn't have any problems dumping, but cleaning the truck out is going to be something else. But that's good, because there was not really much else for me to do today. They thought about having me go do another job, but if I haven't heard back about going to do that job yet, I don't know if I'm going to do that job at all. So, alright, just got to call. My washout man is at the site where I'm going to be getting washed out, so that's good. He's already there. I still got 20 minutes. Had to drink some coffee. Man, I honked at somebody this morning. Alright, I think I'm recording again. Yes, I am. Okay. I got another call. I had to honk at somebody this morning. This fucking guy in a Pontiac. I get on the highway and I'm driving, and he straight up cuts off this other car. Like, there's clearly not enough room for him to get in there, and he had just gotten on the highway. And he cut off a car, cut off another car, and then I said, buddy. I saw it, him coming, and I tried my damnedest. I mean, but I'm not an aggressive driver, and I am a stickler for following distance. Like, I don't know. I cannot follow a car close enough to keep somebody from getting into my fucking zone, you know? I just can't get that close, because you never know if the car in front of you is going to either slow down or slam on the brakes. And then I got this guy rolling up on me, and I try to fucking block him, but he fucking gets right in there, and, oh man, dude, I was having horrible thoughts. Well, not horrible thoughts. But I definitely wanted to pit maneuver this motherfucker in a Pontiac. But I'm like, hey, not fucking worth it. I'll just follow him at a distance until he gets off the fucking highway. But I did. I honked hard at him. I was fucking, you fucking bitch motherfucker. Cut me off. Cut off everybody on the highway. You're so important. Are you headed to the hospital? No. Maybe, but probably not. Bitch ass motherfucker. Yeah, traffic is just not fun to deal with. Not at all. What else has been going on? I think So the episode that I quit recording from, like, I just deleted it all because I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. Because yesterday I was just talking about the weekend that we had, I think. Um, but dude, it's so hard to remember what I've done. There's just so much going on. I have not worked on the truck. I haven't messed with the truck at all. So, you know, I popped the hood of it the other day just to make sure I unhooked the battery cables because I couldn't remember if I did or not. But I did. So I just checked to see if the battery cables were still hooked up or not. Closed the hood, called it good. I don't know. I just need some time to get in there, and it's starting to get into those warmer months where I'm like, man, if I want to work on this truck, I need to go ahead and get it licensed and just drive it into my shop. So I can have a shop to work on this thing. Maybe, I don't know. My driveway, I got a canopy, so I thought about like bringing this canopy out and getting it set up so I can have some shade, because I don't know. I get shade in the afternoons in the driveway. So my house faces east, so I get a lot of shade in the evenings, but it's still just too damn hot. But I need to get out there and start messing with the wiring and stuff. It really won't be that big of a deal once I get in there and start going. But I do want to prepare with some ice stuff. I need to get I still haven't done any research on the butt connectors, figure out what type of connectors I want to use, and I also need to take an inventory of the wire that I have and see if maybe I can get some more wire in different colors. I don't know. I need to figure out how many colors I need. I also need to just sit down with a piece of paper and write down some schematics, and that might help me figure out how I want to do some things and figure out what works and what doesn't work. So the harness that comes off of the column, that includes the blinkers, which I want to keep the original blinker. I want to keep the ignition with the key. I want to actually replace the ignition with a brand new ignition with a brand new key, because you can shove anything in there and it'll turn it. So I'd like to, protect it a little bit. Like, you got to have the right fucking key to fucking use this truck. That would be nice, instead of just shoving anything in there. I've had a truck stolen before, and I haven't told this story in a while, but I'll tell you again. I got a little bit of time. I had a 78 Chevy truck that I was on my second engine, but everything was going well, and I used to live with a guy out in the boonies, and he would, every vehicle in the town, but especially the house that we were living at, every vehicle, the keys were left in it, because you never know when you're going to need to move something for whatever reason. So he got me into the habit of just leaving the keys in the truck. Like, never take the key out. Like, don't even have a key ring or anything. Just leave one single key in the ignition and just leave it like that. Because he's like, I needed to move your truck the other day, and I couldn't find the key. I was like, I had the keys with me. He's like, why did you have the keys with you? I needed to move your truck. And I'm like, I don't know. And he got not real angry, but he's like, leave the fucking keys in the motherfucker. Nobody's going to take it. Well, that works in small town, but it does not work in big city. So, not big city, but I moved back, and I was living in Lee Summit at the time, and I was working at a gas station. And yeah, I lived in this fucking truck, basically. I always had a place to stay, but most of my items that I cared about were in the toolbox in the back. because I just had, boxes of shit at the house or wherever I was living, but um, most of my prized possessions were with the truck because I never knew where I was going to be staying for the night. Normally, I was a fucking, what's his name, Supertramp, Floyd Supertramp, whatever the fuck that kid's name is that died in a bus in that one book. I can't think of his name. It's something Supertramp. And anyways, I go to work, and I always park in the same spot for work, and it's right next to the building. And I go in, and I just got there. Just got to work, go inside, clock in, count the register, whatever, put some candy bars up on the shelves, whatever it may be, and then I'm just kind of hanging out at the gas station, and I hear a brum, 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 and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's some fucking badass car rolling in the parking lot. So I run up to the window, and I'm looking around, and we weren't that busy that day, or at that point in time. And then I see my truck just fucking rolling out of the fucking parking lot. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm like in awe. I run out, and I'm run out in the parking lot, and I look, and I just watch it drive over the bridge and like straight into the sunset. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, all right, well, I have a lot of friends, and they all know where I work, and they all know that I like to fuck with them. They like to fuck with me. Somebody took my truck, and they're coming back. They're coming back. Well, I don't know, like a half hour goes by, and I'm like, okay, I need to call the police. So I call 911, and they're like, what's your emergency? I was like, my truck was stolen from my work. They're like, okay, and I give them the address and everything, tell them my name. They're like, all right, we'll send an officer by. I'm like, okay. So I'm there, and I'm working night shift, and I call my boss. And I'm like, hey, man. He's like, hey. He's like, my truck just got stolen out of the parking lot. He's like, oh, that's not good. I was like, no, it's not good. Not good at all. I called the police. They're on their way. He's like, okay. So what do you need? What do you need? I was like, I don't know. I might need to go. He's like, well, where do you need to go? I'm like, I don't know. But the police are going to show up. He's like, yeah, they'll show up there. It's like, but you won't need to leave or anything. I'm like, I guess not. He's like, okay. Well, yeah, just keep working. I'm like, okay. No sympathy or anything out of this fucking guy. And I go over, and I'm scouring the cameras. I'm trying to figure out how to. God damn, this truck is fucking bumpy. Motherfuck, I hate this. I hate this truck. It does not have a suspension in the rear. It's just bushings. So it's really fucking bumpy. It's better when it's fully loaded, and it's only got 100 gallons in it, so it's not fully loaded. Anyways, hours later, police officers rarely ever came to our store unless they were trying to fucking catch us selling alcohol, trying to sell a Four Loko to a 12-year-old. Because that's what they would do. They would always send in a fucking 12-year-old, and they'd be like, yeah, just go in there, grab whatever drink, a single can of beer, whatever, and then go try to pay for it with this 20. And they always gave them a 20. Yeah, 12-year-olds would walk in there and set a Four Loko down on the counter, and they're like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Good. I was like, do you have an ID? No. I'm like, all right, well, I can't sell this to you. And then they would turn around and go outside, and you'd see an unmarked police car fucking take off. And you're like, you motherfuckers. But anyways, a police officer pulls in and parks in my parking spot, the same parking spot where my truck was stolen from. I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 hours ago. And he walks in, and I meet him at the door, and I'm like, hey, is there any leads or anything? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, my truck was stolen. He's like, your truck was stolen? I was like, yeah, my truck was stolen from where your cruiser's parked right now. It was stolen hours ago. He's like, oh, did you call it in? I was like, yes, I called it in right after it happened. He's like, oh, all right, well, I really just pulled in here to use the restroom, so I just need to use the restroom real quick, and then I'll come out and I'll help you out. I'm like, okay. So he runs in there, he takes a big, massive, fucking stinky shit. Takes forever, and then he comes back out, and, yeah, we do the report and everything. He's like, yeah, I don't know, I just got on duty. He's like, it was shift change, and I just got on duty, and I haven't heard anything about a stolen car. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, well, it's fucking gone now. I mean, it was in the area, but it's not anymore. He's like, yeah. He's like, did you have any valuables in it? I was like, yeah. I mean, he's like, all right, what'd you have in it? I'm like, I don't even know. He's like, did you have any weapons in it? I was like, no. He's like, there was no child or anything in it? I was like, no. He's like, okay, well, yeah, we'll keep an eye out. And then he left. And I'm like, motherfucker. And then I did end up getting a call from a detective like a week later. And he's like, hey, I'm detective whatever. I'm handling your case for your stolen truck. He just wanted to know, what color was it? What was it? Do you have the VIN? Do you have all that shit? And I'm just like, I'm devastated. I've never felt so fucking violated in my life. Like, it's a weird thing because, just if you never had it done, it had something like that happen, something you really care about taken away from you. It's a weird feeling because that's not how you think you would feel when something is taken away from you. But no, I felt like somebody had inserted something in my ass without my approval. Maybe held me down and shoved a dirty sock in my mouth. Fucking rammed my ass, ripped me. I had internal bleeding. I had to go to a doctor. I didn't have health insurance. And I was in debt, getting my ass stitched back up. That's how I felt. None of that happened, but that is how I felt. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Oh, god damn it. I took a wrong fucking turn. I went the wrong way. Alright. I was like, why is it telling me to get back on the fucking highway? Went the wrong fucking way. Anyway. So, I ended up getting another truck. My buddy, my Florida boy buddy, he did help me out. He's like, hey man, I mentioned that your truck was stolen to a guy at work, and he asked me if you wanted another truck. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what is it? It's like, it's an 89 Silverado, 4-wheel drive, long bed, single cab, It's old, it's been sitting in his driveway for a long time. It doesn't run, but it used to run. So he said, you can, if you want it, you can come over and you can have it. I'm like, no shit. So I get my buddy Bob. He's got it's an 85 Chevy long bed, but it's got a flatbed on it. 2-wheel drive, 3/4 ton, and he's got a car trailer. And it's a 4-speed truck. And hold on, I need to turn here. I need to turn here. Call Valley. Alright, I think I know where I'm going. I'll continue this story about the truck in just a second for you, but I gotta do some shit. Hold on. Okay. So my buddy, he gets his flatbed and his trailer loaded up, and we head out, go to this guy's house, and there is a red 89, I think that's what I said, 89 Chevy. It's a heavy half, but so it's a 6 lug, but it's got 3/4 ton suspension and running gear and everything. At a posi track, we could not get it running in the driveway, but we were able to get it to roll out of the driveway. So, and also take note that the bed was completely full of concrete. So maybe that's what I'm talking about. I'm having concrete issues today. But the bed was full of concrete, blocks, gravel, dirt, just a bunch of like shit, like the entire bed up to the top of the bed rails. It was full, and this thing was not squatting at all. So that's the only thing that really tells me it was a heavy half. Because yeah, it wasn't squatting at all, and it's been sitting for a long time. And we get it rolled out of the driveway, and then we're gonna roll it downhill onto this car trailer. And we get the ramp set out, everything's ready to go, and we start rolling this truck down. And I'm in the truck, and my buddy, they're all standing beside, watching and trying to guide me or whatever. But I mean, I'm rolling. This truck does not run. It's heavy as fuck, and it has no brakes. So, I mean, it has brakes, but you need power brakes to be able to do anything. And I hit those ramps on that trailer, and they flipped up underneath my truck, and it lifted the ass end of the 2-wheel drive 3/4 ton up in the air. And it was the same situation I had the other day, where this entire contraption is rolling down the fucking hill. Not good. And my buddy runs over, and all he did was he left it in second gear. He didn't have the e-brake on or anything. So as we're rolling, as long as luckily the key wasn't turned forward, it's going like his truck, because it was loud as fuck. And it's just blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm sitting in this truck, and I can't do shit. I'm just fucking, oh no. Luckily he was able to run fast enough to get into his truck and hit the brakes, and so the front brakes are good enough to stop the entire contraption from rolling down the hill. It was a fucked up situation, but we eventually got the truck to get up onto the trailer, and everything was good. We took it back to his house. He lived in a neighborhood kind of near my mom's house. So I just followed him, or went to his house, dropped it off there. We replaced all different kinds of stuff on this truck. It's a 350 TBI, so it's really not that complicated to work on. But we tried everything, and he has built several 350s over the years. I had worked on my 78 over the years, and I had a Vortec 350. I didn't really have to work on that too much, but I had a 96 previous to that, and other trucks. Like I had an S, or no, I didn't have the S10 at the time. I had a Ranger. I put a clutch in. So I mean, it's like we're mechanically savvy enough to work on a 350 in a yard. But we could not get this thing to fucking fire up for nothing. We replaced a bunch of shit. We could have kept replacing shit, but my mom, she said, well, I'll take it to the shop that I take all my cars to, and I'll help you pay for it or whatever. So took it, had it towed over to the shop. They look at it, and they say, all right, yep, we got it running. Come get it. Went over there to get it, and I was just talking to the guy in there. We're writing up the paperwork, paying him, and I'm like, what kind of warranty situation we got going on here? He's like, he thinks I'm joking with him. He's like, it's the fucking tail light warranty. I'm like, what? What do you? He's like, yeah, when I can't see your tail lights anymore, the warranty's over. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, no, everything's got a Napa warranty on it. A Napa lifetime warranty. This fucking truck, dude. It's so bumpy. Whatever. I'm like, I'm just happy to get my truck back. I go out there, it fires up. This is the first time I've ever had it fire up. Put it in drive, and I start driving, and I get to the gate, and I have to hit the brakes to stop. And it dies. It completely dies right there before I even left their parking lot. And I try to fire it up again, and it's not running good at all. And so I didn't even spend much time with it. I just went back in there and I said, hey, it died before I left your parking lot. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's dead in the parking lot. I don't know. They're like, all right, well, we'll take care of it. I'm like, okay. So, and then I leave. Luckily, the guy that brought me over there was still there and gave me a ride back home. And then they call me back, and they're like, hey, we figured it out. We got it running again, so you're ready to come pick it up. Go back out there. They're trying to charge me another, like, $400 or something. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was already angry about that. I'm like, no, you guys said it ran and it drove fine. You said it was fixed. If there was a warranty, your bullshit taillight warranty. No, I'm not paying for anything else to get this thing fucking fixed. And got in it. I don't know how that all went down. I totally forgot what happened, but I ended up leaving, and it ran and it drove, and I was happy. Everything was great, and that's when I found out it had a posi track in it. After that? I got the bed completely cleared out. I detailed the interior, washed it. It was clean. Just cleaned it up, ready for it to be my daily driver again. In the meantime, I think I was driving my buddy's. My buddy had bought a Stratus, a Dodge Stratus, and I was driving that around for a little while. But then I got this red truck, and it's running, driving. I'm like, I'm happy as a clam. It is. I can do fucking donuts anywhere, and nobody would believe me until I took them for a ride. It would just posi track, just do a burnout. Because I noticed it would wheel hop a little bit going around like sharp corners and stuff. So I was like, something's weird here. I think it's got either a welded or posi track, or I don't know. It could have been just welded. I never took the rear diff cover off to check it out. But I always said it was a posi track. It was just a good old truck. And I drove it for a long time, and it slowly was decaying, though. Not in, like, any way other than, like, the engine just was not running well anymore. Like, it was starting to backfire, and then it would just have no power, and then it'd have power, and then it wouldn't, and then it was just, I don't know. It was just having so many issues, and I was getting kind of upset about it because I spent so much money replacing shit on my own, and then having a shop, an actual shop work on it. And so I was just done with it. I was like, what the fuck? And I posted it up for sale. The same, I don't know if it was the same week, same day, but it was like the same fucking day or week. I get a call from my buddy's dad. I used to live with him, and he's the guy that I lived with that, was worried about the keys in the trucks and stuff. He says, hey, I got a piece of mail for you, it's from Jackson County. Do you want me to open it? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, go ahead and open it. He's like, all right. He opens it up, and he's like, it says that they recovered your stolen vehicle, and it's at this tow lot, and if you come get it within 3 days, you won't have any tow fees. I'm like, oh, what? No way. This is a joke. He's like, no. He's like, I got the letter right here. I'm like, no fucking way. So I immediately went up to the tow lot that it said, the impound or whatever, and I go in there. I'm like, hey, this is my name, this is my truck, you guys have it here. And they're like, I'm not finding that in the system at all. I'm like, well, I mean, I promise you I got a letter that says I need to pick it up within 3 days. And they're like, no, we don't have it. So I leave, and I call the detective. No answer, no response, nothing like that. And then I call my buddy's dad again, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if I had him fax it over to me or if I went up to go get it, but it was like a day later, and I went back on the second day, and I took the paper in there, and I said, you guys have this truck? They're like, yeah, this is we send these out whenever we get them recovered. I'm like, okay, so it's here. They're like, yeah, I don't know. You're welcome to take a golf cart around the yard with one of our employees and see if you can find it. I'm like, okay. So yeah, we get on a golf cart and we drive around, and surprisingly there's multiple square bodies out in that impound lot, but none of them are the one that I had. None of them were mine. So there was like a fenced in area, and I said, hey man, do you think it's in there? Or can we check in there? I see some cars in there. He's like, no, those are under investigation. Those have had either it's a horrible car accident or a murder or drugs or something. He's like, it would not be in there. I'm like, okay. So they take me to the front, and they're like, yeah, we don't have it. And I'm like, motherfucker. So on the third and final day, I call the detective, and he finally calls me back or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, they say they have it. And so I'm on the phone with the detective in the impound lot for the third fucking day. And they're like, yes, we do have it. It's under investigation. And I'm like, all right, well, I have the detective that's handling the case for the stolen truck right here. So I don't know what happened, but I guess they expedite the investigation or whatever, and they say, all right, you can get it. Like, so I'm like, hey, you fucking idiots. I am fucking here within the 3 days to get my truck. If you guys hold it for a fourth day, I promise you, I am not paying fucking fees. And they're like, oh, well, you're going to pay the fee if you're going to pick it up. I'm like, I've been here. Like, it's not my fault. It's under investigation. You know, you can't charge tow fee if it's under investigation. You're holding it. You want to have it there. But anyways, we get it figured out, and they actually let me into the fenced-in area to pick it up. And I go in there, and dear Lord, what did they do to my baby? Luckily, it still had 4 tires full of air. They handed me a shitload of keys, like a big fucking wad of keys. And they're like, here's your keys. I'm like, what the fuck is this? They're like, that's the keys that came with it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, it had one singular key in the ignition when it was stolen. That's the only key. Like, I kept all my other keys on me. They're like, yeah, well, these are yours now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get in the truck, and I turn the key, and it's got a battery. I'm like, wow, all right. And I pop the hood, check the oil, and I noticed that the power steering pump is not connected. It is set off to the side. Luckily, the belt that runs the power steering pump That's all it runs. The other belt runs the fan, the alternator, and the water pump. Um, so I don't know. I got lucky there, and I'm like, no way. And I pump it 3 times, and it fires right up. And that one, yeah, it had a 350 4-volt main with, I guess I would not say upgraded heads, but that's what I was told when I put them on there. And it had a Edelbrock Performer intake with an Edelbrock carb. Kind of the same situation I got on my current 79 right now. Also attached to a 3-speed turbo 350. And that's what, oh my God! I fucking hate this truck. If I could run this into a ditch and flip it over like I did the last one, I fucking would. I fucking hate this truck. This is a horrible truck to drive around. It is so goddamn bumpy. Anyway, I used the only smooth part of the road to complain about it. Now I'm going to try to talk about other stuff. So it fires up. I'm amazed. And I put it in drive, and it pulls out. And let me just describe the interior real quick. The interior had been, it's like somebody stabbed a black spray paint can and threw it in there. A lot of the interior was painted black for some odd reason. I don't know why. But everything was painted black. On the inside of the windows was painted black. It had a seat cover on it. It was full of tools and trash. I was really excited to go through all that stuff, and I found a lot of goodies and a lot of stuff I still hold on to today. I got out of that truck because I was like, dude, my toolbox is gone. Every single item that I had in that truck, other than the truck itself, was gone, except for one little thing. I had a lure, like a fishing lure. I just had a piece of wire, baling wire, that I put through the fishing lure, and I hung it from the rear view mirror. And that was the only thing of mine in that truck. And I still have that today, and I haven't installed it on my current truck right now, but it's been on every other one of my trucks in the same spot. But now it's got a little file with my dad's ashes in it also, and a little emblem. It's just like a little good luck charm that I always hold on to now. Saying, I don't know what it would spiritually mean, but it just, I don't know. I put it in the truck. It was still there when I got it back. And this was 6 months later. From the time it was stolen till the time I got it back was 6 months. And this truck is so fucking rusty. So goddamn rusty. You wouldn't believe how rusty this truck was. I was, dealing with the depression of losing my truck because I knew that they took it to a scrapyard. It was a heavy, short bed, 4-wheel drive truck that didn't run. It ran, but it did not run the greatest. None of the gauges worked. Somebody fucking stole it, and once it breaks down, are they going to fix it? No, they're just going to take it to the fucking scrapyard or chop it up and then just take it to the scrapyard as, parts or whatever. You part it out on Craigslist. I don't know. And dude, believe me, I was scouring fucking Craigslist for a very long time looking for that truck. And it never showed up. So anyways, I get the truck, I get it fired up, and I put it in drive, and I start rolling out of the parking lot. I have no power steering, so it's a complete bitch to fucking maneuver this truck out of there. I had to do a 20-point turn just to get out of the parking spot without hitting some of the other cars. But once I got it straight, I'm, straight out the gate. And just take it slow because no power steering. But it is a lot easier to turn whenever you're moving. So driving out, and there's like a speed bump at the gate, or like the track and the gate or whatever, and I run over it with the front axle and then the rear axle. Bam! It's just as solid as this fucking truck right here. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no suspension in the rear. This is not good. So I just, whatever, and I leave. I sign all the paperwork that needs to be signed. They give me another piece of paper because they had ripped the VIN tag off of it. So they gave me a piece of paper to take it up to the DMV or whatever, and they'll do a full ID/OD on the truck, which I didn't really understand what that even meant at the time, but they did an ID/OD on it, and then they put a new VIN tag on the truck, and then I think I ended up, I don't know if they stamped a new VIN tag for me and mounted it on there, and everything is good. But yeah, I get it out. I remember the long straightaway leaving the impound. I stopped to just kind of get a good look at it because it was kind of packed in there with other cars and stuff. And I just stopped out there. That was a good place to get out and look. And I'm like, what is going on with the rear suspension? Get under there. The passenger side leaf spring was missing all of the springs except for the main spring. And in place of those springs was a rubber wheel chalk zip tied in there with an entire package of zip ties. It was insane how many zip ties they had on this fucking thing. And so I drove around like that for a very long time. I did go immediately and get a power steering bracket. There was nothing wrong with the power steering, so I have no idea what the issue was. But I just put a new bracket on there, and it ran just fine. I ended up, I got the VIN tag put on, and this was perfect timing because that red '89 Silverado shot shit. And so I had an extra $500 because I sold it for $500. I had that sitting in my pocket, and I went to the junkyard, and I found some bucket seats, a center console, and I bought a bunch of fucking paint. I should have spent that money on like fixing some of the stuff on the truck, but I was like, I don't know. This is not the truck I had before, so let's do some upgrading to cosmetically to make it look the way I want it to look. So I painted. That's when I put the white stripe in between the trim along the side of the truck, all the way around to the back. I ripped out the bench seat and put in bucket seats with homemade brackets. It was not safe. And then the center console from like a 96 and up Chevy truck. And just kept driving it, dude. Just kept driving it, and with the wheel chalk in it. And then I took it to my buddy's dad's house, Florida boy buddy's dad's house where I used to live. And he said, hurry up and bring it down here, or up here, because I've got a square body I'm scrapping, and you can have the leaf spring off of it. So went down there, and I ended up getting the leaf spring. That was like a year later, though. I drove it with the wheel chalk in there for like a year. It was a rough fucking ride, but it was at least a little bit more comfortable than something like this fucking semi here, or vac truck or whatever. And I drove it for a very long time. I ended up working at a lumber yard, or I worked at a grocery store, and then I quit the grocery store. I went and worked for a lumber yard, and that's when I met my buddy Luke and Bo, and I ended up selling the truck to Bo. He was always interested in it, and then I don't know. It needed tires. Well, it was parked for a little bit because I got an S10. I parked it. I drove it to the farm, and I bought the S10 from my uncle. And I drove the S10 until the S10 was about to crap out, and then I drove the S10 back to the farm, got my truck. It was having overheating issues, so I replaced the thermostat right there in the field and started driving that again, and I sold the S10 cash for clunkers, or not cash for clunkers, just cheap, $300. I sold the S10 because my mom said I needed to sell all of the junk vehicles that I owned, which was the 2 trucks. She said, you need to sell those 2 pieces of junk, and then I'll get you something nice. And that's when I got the Suburban. So I sold, well, I guess I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I drove the S10 for a while, and then the S10 fucked up, and then I started driving the 78, but then the 78, shortly after I started driving it again, it needed tires. And I've gone through so many sets of tires on that truck because I kept getting used tires from people for free, and they kept exploding on the fucking highway. So I was asking my mom for tires. She said, no, I'm not going to spend $1,000, $1,500 on the tires that you want. I'll give you $3,000 for an entire vehicle, and then you won't have to worry about it. And I'm like, okay. But I had to sell my 2 trucks. So I sold the S10 for $300 because I needed it going quickly, which I shouldn't have sold it for that much. It was a good truck. It had a little 2.8 liter V6 with a 5-speed, and I should not have sold that fucking thing for $300 because it ran. It didn't run good, but it ran. And then I sold my 78. I'm skipping ahead again. I sold it to Bo at one point in time because he was interested in it. So while I was driving the S10, Bo had my 78. And then Bo was going to scrap the 78. He said, yeah, it needs too much work. I'm going to scrap it. And I said, no, I'll pay you $500 for it. So I paid him $500, got my 78 back. Shortly after I got it back, the tires were fucking up on it. And that's when I sold it for $500 to some dude at O'Reilly's. And then I got the Suburban. And I have missed that 78 so bad. So that's why I had square body fever. That's why I have a 79 now. And I have it, and I just need to work on it a little bit, and then I can start driving it. And this one is going to be way better than the 78 was. I mean, the 78 will always have a special spot in my heart, but I always wanted a long bed. The short beds, they do look cool, and they are more sought after. But the long bed just looks the way I want it to look. It looks like a farm truck. The short beds are nice to doll up and drive around to car shows and stuff like that, and to make them look, tough and stuff. But the long beds, I like them more. So now I got me a long bed. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode because I got to get out and put fuel in this truck, park it, and then I got to work on it. So have a great day. Talk to you later. Keep all 18 down.